So for people listening, tell them how tall you are, because we just said that you look a bit taller than what you actually are.
So I am 5'11", and I will hold on to that. Everyone always thinks I'm taller, and I'm like, no, I'm 5'11". I got measured at the doctor's, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm just thinking, then I'm like, I'm 6'4", and you definitely. It's probably like the camera tricks. Is that what we're saying?
I think it's the camera tricks and also like who I'm wrestling, because everyone that I wrestle like in the women's division at UKW, like they're always like a lot shorter, especially Nisa. Like it looks like little and large. Like she looks like a borrower, and I look like the friendly giant.
Are you basically saying that everyone at UKW apart from you is a short ass?
Well, I mean, the guys, they're like pretty tall, but majority of them, I think I am probably taller than most of them. Like I'm definitely taller than any of the girls there, that's for sure.
Okay. So of course, talking to Drew. Do you know what I mean? We've got loads of stuff to talk about. I cannot wait to get into this story because it's really, really good. Loads of wrestling and stuff like that. We've got loads of fan questions. I've got to be honest. We've got so many fan questions. And there's some really good ones.
Yeah, I when I put the post up, I wasn't expecting that many to like come up. I thought I would just get one or two, and then when I got all them, I was like, okay, people might be interested.
There we go. So this is live, as I mentioned. So if people want to get involved, leave them in the comments. We'll put them all to Drew. Enough rambling on. Let's get into the intro. Drew, it's great to obviously have you on the show. I mean, obviously we spoke before December, but you were a little bit under the weather. But you're finally here. You're finally on the show.
I'm back. Yes, I was really poorly over Christmas, and then I got poorly, then I got better, and then I got poorly again. Like it was awful. Felt like someone was like constantly sat on my chest. It was that bad. But yes, we're here. We've got it. We've got it ready.
Of course. But other than that, did we have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I had a really good Christmas. Like Christmas Eve, I went to my sister's and hung out with her and like played with like my niece and nephews. And then Christmas Day, I spent it with my mom, and then I was working Boxing Day. So it was a short Christmas for me.
Anything exciting, or are we going to keep that separate?
Exciting. What's coming up, or
Just in general, do you know what I mean? Did we get a bit drunk or anything? Is where we're getting at?
no? Do you know what? I haven't drank for over 11 years now. I am like teetotal. I'm pretty boring. I'm always like drinking cups of tea.
You're not on your own because I don't actually drink either and stuff like that. And everyone's just like, you are one boring person. I'm like, look, I don't drink, all right?
Do you know what? I probably outlast my friends. Like if we go on a night out, I will stay out till like 4 a.m. and they're like, how can you like cope with all these drunk people? And like I thrive off energy. Like if you're giving me like really good energy, I'll stay out. If you borrow me, I'll be like, I'm off. I do like the secret exit, you know, when you like be like, bye, and then you quickly, swiftly go out.
Exit stage left is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I used to be that person that was like, bye to every single person, and I'm like, I'm just gonna just sneak off.
But yeah, I mean, of course, we're talking about your career in wrestling and stuff like that. Now, you did mention this is your first like wrestling interview.
Yes, this is my first live like wrestling interview. I've done one interview in the past back in 2013 when I first got into wrestling. I only was training at UKW back then for maybe like 3 months, maybe 4. But because I'd been on TV before that, I was doing loads of like news articles for different papers and magazines. So they kind of picked up that I was doing wrestling. And then they ran an article about like me being the first trans wrestler in the UK, even though I wasn't actually wrestling, I was only training. But yeah, so this is like my first podcast interview, I guess. I'm excited.
So,
it's going to be good.
of course it is. So let's obviously start at the beginning, shall we? So how does your career obviously begin in wrestling?
So how I got into it, or how I got into wrestling in general?
We'll start off with wrestling in general, and then get into the training side.
Okay, so when I first watched wrestling, I moved from Dover to Wakefield. Like my dad was in the army, so I moved all over the UK. And there were two like boys that lived down the street from me. So I would have been in like maybe like year 6 at school. And they were huge on wrestling. Like one of them was into Stone Cold, the other one was into The Rock. And then there was like, can we hang out? And then I asked them like what wrestlers I could be. And they was listing all these like wrestlers like Triple H and Mankind. I was like, no, like what are the female wrestlers? Like I want to be one of them. And one of them like looked at me and was like, okay. And then they said, well, there's a wrestler called Sable. So when we was like playing wrestling, like I was Sable, but I have no idea who she was. I'd not seen a match of hers. I just was pretending to be Sable. And then the first time I ever saw her was when I went to like a toy store. Are we allowed to say like shops and stuff on here?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so it was at Toys R Us, and I was walking down like the aisle, and there was like an action figure, and it was of Sable. It was like the Stomp series, and she had like this weird blue armor that just clipped onto her, and I was like, oh my god, that's who I am. And then I pestered my mum to buy it, and then I'd still not seen Sable wrestle at all. Like the only female that I'd actually seen wrestling was China, and I think it was in like a Royal Rumble. And then it wasn't until Lita came into it, and then that's when I was like hooked. I was like, right, Lita is my idol. That is me. She reminded me of like Jet from the Gladiators. So I think that's why I was like drawn to her. So that's how I got into watching wrestling. And then
I love the fact you said Jet from Gladiators. That is a TV show and a half.
oh, I used to be obsessed. I remember having like a little action figure of her, and like she had no posability. I think all her arms moved. That was it. It looked nothing like her. But like I was just obsessed with her because she could do all these like acrobatic moves, and she was just like to me like a superhero. And I think when Lita came into wrestling, that really drew me to her because she was so different from like all the other women. So yeah, that's how I got into wrestling. And then in terms of training, so I went to Manchester when I was 17. They was doing like a week seminar course, and I can't remember what the wrestling company was called, but Alex Shane from FWA Academy was doing like guest training there. And then I think there was like Rockstar Spuds that was there. This was like back in 2006. And it was so weird because I remember the first day that I went, there was two girls that were training before the seminar. They didn't stay for the seminar, they left. And like later on, I found out that it was the Blossom twins. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that they were the girls, you know, because we were so young. I'd have just turned 17 when I went. So I didn't stay for the full week. I was only there a couple of days. So we was there a few days. We learned like the basics and stuff. And then I kind of stopped. Like I didn't do the full week's course because I was going through a lot, like mentally and obviously dealing with like my own journey and like self-discovery. And so I kind of focused on that. And then I went back to training in 2013 at UKW, which was in June. And then I debuted as a valet at WrestleBration 5 under the name Harley Ryder. And then I think I was there for maybe another 2 months. And then I fell in love and my focus was on that. And then I went back in 2014 for like maybe like 3 months and then just stopped altogether. So it's like I constantly like dipped in and out. And then it wasn't until 2023 when I was in work and Cayman Carlisle had come into my store and he was like, oh my God, like, how have you been? It's been so long. And he was the one that kind of convinced me to come back. He said, like, will you ever come back to wrestling? And I think because of the age that I am now, I thought I've kind of just got one more shot at this. So I went back in July 2023, and then that was it. Like my whole mindset was different. I was so comfortable within myself. And everyone just like treated me like, you know, as a person. They did it at the beginning in 2013, but I think it was my own insecurity. Like I was in my own head. I was worried about what people thought. And then, yeah, I made my debut last year. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
Absolutely. And obviously, speaking of the UKW women's division, I mean, there's some great names there. I mean, Leonie Rose will obviously get onto that. But there's also like Ruby Broco, Nisa, who you've mentioned. There's some incredible talent, obviously, on the women's side.
Yeah, like I honestly like watching them like train, and everything that they do is just incredible. Like, they're all so different as well, and I think that's what works with that roster, is like everyone is so unique. Like, they're all like a different spice. And yeah, like, I'm just so honored because they literally, like, I mean, obviously my character is so obnoxious and such like a bimbo diva, but like, actually, like, me as a person is the complete opposite to that. But they like treat me so well, they look after me so much, and they've just like kind of let me fit in. And yeah, I love wrestling. Like, Ruby, I enjoy wrestling because she's like really strong, so she can actually like let me do a lot of the moves, like the head scissors and stuff, which, you know, I'm quite limited on what I can do on certain people because I am tall. So yeah, whenever I wrestle each one of them, like Ivy, Nisa, Ruby, Leonie, like, they're all so different, so I kind of have to bring something different to the table. Although I have like 4 moves, so.
Awesome. So you mentioned obviously your personal journey, stuff like that. I mean, how difficult was it to like juggle that, but also wrestling as well? Was it really difficult for you?
Yeah, like, when I first tried to get into wrestling, obviously I wasn't how I am now. So that was like more of a mental thing, and that's kind of why I stopped, because I knew that I wanted to like transition. So for me, that was like my main focus. And then when I finally like transitioned and then I went back to UKW, I remember like calling them on the first day of training. I was like, so I just want to check, like, would you be okay if I come training? Like, I'm trans and I don't know how the guys are gonna be. And they was like, no, it's fine. Like, you know, just come down. You'll be looked after. And they really did. Like, they looked after me, even though I was only there for a short period of time. But I think for me, when I debuted at Celebration 5 as a valet, I was still really insecure about people knowing that I was like trans. Like, it was like an insecurity within myself. And I always, like, whenever I spoke, I was like, oh, I remember I was having to cheer like Nikos and Ellis Barker at the time on. And then I had to like flirt with Chris Castle. And I was like, I'm really uncomfortable right now because I don't know how like the audience is going to react to me. So that was tough in itself. But then when I went back, I came back with like a stronger mentality and like being out there. Like, my character isn't like known as being trans, but to me, it's like the reason why I've not mentioned it is because I don't think it's necessary, because that's just a part of me. So yeah, it's a lot easier now than it was back then. And that was more
Yeah.
my own theory.
They always say like when you get older, you get a bit more like wiser and stuff like that. Is that probably fair?
Yeah, like, I'm at a point where like I just don't care. Before I was like a people pleaser and I wanted everyone to like me, but now it's like you kind of, you know, I'm like, Mama, you either love me or hate me. Hopefully you love me, but yeah, I just kind of get on with it, put my head down, and you know, I can only be myself. That's all I can do.
And that's the best thing, you know, just being yourself, not being somebody like who people want you to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I always used to say, like, if you're not being yourself, then like, what's the point of being you? Like, you only get one life, you only get one chance at this. And it's like, when you worry so much about what other people think, it's like, well, what opinion does that person have? Like, why does that affect you so much? And when you start like thinking about, actually, even if that person doesn't like how I look, or that person doesn't like how I wrestle, or whatever, you know, does it really matter? Because as long as I've got like my close friends and family around me to support me, then, you know, that's all I need in my life. But yeah, I'm very lucky.
You
Even though the
mentioned,
crowd hate me.
we'll get on to obviously that bit and stuff like that. Now, you mentioned obviously mentally and stuff like that. How are you obviously now in yourself mentally? You're in a good place, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, like, I think everyone can get like their down days. You know, I get like my days where I'm down. But generally, like, yeah, I'm in a really good place. Like, I'm really happy. I'm just, for me, like, I'm just kind of living life, you know. And it's like, for me, wrestling, I didn't expect to kind of be where I am right now in wrestling. And to like keep sticking at it. And there are days where I get up and I'm like, you know, I really don't have the energy to train because like I'm tired, and I do have to push myself. But other than that, like, yeah, I'm in a good place. Are you in a good place?
I'm always in a good place, me. Do you know what I mean? You got to be, aren't you?
Exactly. You can't get down, because if you do, it doesn't do anything. I can, if I am down, I can like lay in bed for like days, but then it's like I'm not getting anything. Like I can't do anything. Like just get up, like get a shower, and try and make the most of it, because only you can like help yourself. Like you can have people try and support you with like mentally, and help you kind of get out of bed or whatever, but ultimately it's down to you at the end of the day. Like it's your life. So yeah. I ramble on, by the way, I'm sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. Not a problem. That's why I don't interrupt. I just let you obviously speak your mind and stuff like that. That's what this show's about. So obviously talk about adapting your character and stuff like that, because I've seen your character obviously from 2023 and it is really, really good. I'm just going to say that.
Thank you. So when I first thought about coming back, I was still like I did a show for Squared Circle just before I debuted, and it was a Rumble match, and I was like wrestling under my name Harley Ryder, which was like my original character, and she was like a face, very much like a blonde Lita, I guess. Well, in my head, I think that anyway. And, when I was like coming up with like a character, it was Dan, who I train with. He was like, maybe you should consider being a heel, because there's a lot of people that are faces at the moment on the roster. So I thought about being a heel, and then we kind of came up with this idea of like a Lady Gaga kind of character, where she changes her appearance and her personality, and then it's like the minute I thought about Lady Gaga, I was like, okay, I'm into this. Like she's extravagant, she's like out there, she's always different, and I wanted my character to reflect that. So like I wear different gears, like you'll never see me in the same thing, like well, you will, but not like, do you know what I mean? Like I'll always change my outfits like week after week. But yeah, and then when it came to the actual character itself, like I looked at people like Maurice, Trish Stratus, even Marie, like the kind of people that you hate, that are like this glam blonde bombshell. And then in terms of like my wrestling, like Lita inspires me so much. So when anything that I can do to kind of emulate her, I will try. I haven't got the moonsault yet. That's my goal this year.
Keep pushing, you'll get there. Don't worry.
I mean, I'll either do it or I'll be.
Whatever happens, though, at least you can say you've tried.
Exactly. I was taking advice off Tommy Dillon, and he was telling me to try and like flip to the side. So I've kind of got that down now. It's just I've not attempted to do it off the second rope yet. So fingers crossed. We'll see.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one person you've obviously worked with a lot, and obviously she's been on the show as well, is Leonie Rose. Now, somebody sent me a question, and they actually want to know about this match here. What was this like?
Oh my god. Okay, so that was like the most nerve-wracking match I've ever done. More because like normally for like a show day like that, for like a pay-per-view, I normally have it off work. So I've normally got the entire day to just kind of like go over the match and really prepare, mentally. And because I was working that day, I literally finished my shift at 6 p.m., went straight to Batley, got there for like, I think it was like 6:45, and then was like trying to like, get prepared for the match. So that was nerve wracking, but also 30 minutes was just like a lot. Like I was so exhausted. Like when you watch it back, like I genuinely was like exhausted. But yeah, it was fun. It's like probably like one of my favorite matches ever. I think more because like I felt like that was the match that really was the one match that was kind of like me proving to everybody that I really wanted to be there, that I could do it, and also proving to myself that I could do it. Because yeah, I mean, I struggle, and if without Rich and without Leonie in that match, like, oh my god, like I don't know what I could have done. Like I remember, like at one point, I was like, what am I even doing? Like, am I supposed to yell at the audience? Am I supposed to stand here? Am I supposed to kick a red in? Like, what am I supposed to do? So yeah, without them too, like it was incredible. Like, and yeah, Leonie took my championship. Well, technically, I took it off her, and then she took it back. But hopefully, I'll get it one day.
Absolutely. I mean, you've obviously worked, like I say, against Leonie, but you've also tagged as well. Is that challenging? Like, also tagging with somebody you like, kind of facing as well? Is there challenges there?
Yeah, like not so much challenging because my character is just so self-absorbed. Like she's too invested in herself. Like to the point where she thinks just hitting someone with a clothesline is like the most spectacular thing ever. Working with her though, like it's more kind of the rules because sometimes I can kind of just forget the rules, and I'm like, so what actually will get you DQ'd? Like, can I rake someone's eyes? But tagging with her was fun because I still got to like obviously work alongside her as a team, but then I got to kind of put my own like twist on it and just be like mean. And whenever I tagged her, like, you know, whack her head. And when she went to tag me, I jumped down and was like on my phone taking a phone call and stuff. So yeah, it is fun. I like tag matches because you know you can really kind of get different flavors in there, and I think sometimes like it can get built up, and also like it's a short match. You're in the ring less, so you're less tired.
You also get a chance to chill as well while they're doing all the work.
Yeah, although there's times where I'm like doing audience, like shouting at the audience and stuff. Like if they tell me I suck, I'm like trying to think of a response to them. But at the same time, I'm like, right, am I supposed to tag right now?
Yeah, and that's probably one thing in wrestling what some fans don't understand is you've got so many things going on. You know, you're planning the match. You know what I mean? You like the crowd and stuff like that. I mean, would you say that's like something that fans may not understand? Like how much obviously goes into a match?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I started refereeing for UKW in March last year, so for me, like that was a really good way for me to understand the matches because I was having training matches before, and obviously, you know, you have your 7 step, like you know, 7 step. Yeah, I don't even know the word. Like you have your seven steps within the match, you know. So you have like you know, your shine, which is like the baby face kind of getting over, and then you have like your cut off, and then your heat and stuff like that. So for me, like when I was doing my training matches, I couldn't quite get to grips with that. And because I was overthinking it, I was always like stumbling and messing up. But then when I was like watching how the matches like work from a referee's point of view and, you know, listening to like the times and stuff like that, like that really helped me understand him. But I don't think you'll ever fully understand them unless you're like doing matches. And it's like only just now I'm starting to kind of figure it out.
No worries. Like I said, you're always learning, and that's the key thing in wrestling. I mean, I'm still learning now. Do you know what I mean? Even as a fan.
Yeah, like I when I watch wrestling now, I look at it completely differently. Like I'll watch it and be like, right, that's the cutoff, that's the hope spot, you know, that's the heat. So that helps as well because then you can kind of see what certain wrestlers do, and then you can kind of take it back and be like, oh, that was really cool. I'm going to try and do that when I'm doing my heat and stuff, you know. So yeah, it is cool.
It is. It definitely is. So for people listening, do you know what I mean? Give me a little insight about obviously UKW and stuff like that. Because I know there's some people will be like, "What's UKW?"
So UKW is a wrestling company that's based in Batley. They do weekly shows and pay-per-views every month, and then they also offer training. So I train there they do training on a Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And then they have 2 weekly shows, which is Monday Night Ignite from 8 p.m. And then they have their Friday night showdown on a Friday night. And then once a month, they have like a pay per view. So the pay per view that's just happened was Revolutionary Road, which was the first Iron Woman match that we did. But yeah, it's a really cool company. Everyone's really cool. And, you know, you learn a lot. Like, not only do you learn from like the trainers, like Joe and Brett have taught me so much. I mean, a year later, I'm still trying to figure out a combat role. And like my leg positioning. But you know, not only do you learn from them, but you also learn from like everyone that goes there. But yeah, if you're wanting to get into training, check them out. I'll
Definitely
find
good. I mean, I've,
local to you.
I've definitely been to one of their shows. I was at Showcase of Champions last year. Do you know what I mean? It was just great to see, you know, different talent. And the one thing I always like when I go to shows is you're always looking at new talent you've not seen before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think as well because they have storylines. So usually when you're going to like a pay per view, if you watch the weekly shows, you've kind of had that built up with the storyline. So like with me and Leonie, that's been a storyline that's been building, you know, since last year, up until like that point. And it's like by the time it got to Revolutionary Road and the fans are like, you know, so behind, like they want Leonie to like just kick my head in. Because, you know, they've had, from a fan's point of view, like they feel like they've been cheated, you know, when I've like DQ'd myself to get out of the match but to retain my title, like they feel like they've been cheated as well, and they invest their time in it. And I think that's what works with the UKW, is because they have that kind of build up. And so when you do go to a pay-per-view, you've got that kind of insight to the story that's been built up that you look forward to. Yeah, it's always different, and they're always bringing in outside talent.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, being obviously wrestling and stuff like that and training, what's the biggest thing wrestling's taught you as a person? Could be inside the ring, could be outside the ring.
Probably to be more patient. You know, nothing happens overnight. I'm kind of this person where I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I like things to just get done and be perfect straight away. But when it comes to wrestling, you know, it's not like that. You know, I mean, there are some people that are just incredible. Like there's one guy that trains called Liam, who literally, I don't think there's anything that he can't do. But you know, just to be patient with myself, and also just to have more fun. You know, like being a heel and just like working the crowd. You know, you can just be a bit more playful. And yeah, I think it's brought something out of me that has been missing for a long time.
The one thing I love you said there, and I hear this a lot, is fun. Every single person I interview said it's fun. Do you know what I mean? You gotta have fun, right? Otherwise, why would you do it?
Exactly. I mean, you're beating yourself up, but the adrenaline. Like I remember my proper debut as a wrestler there, at WrestleMania 15, and honestly, like after the match, the adrenaline that's in you, you're like, I want to go again. I want to go again. I want to get out there. You know, I can do better. And it's like, for me, like I get really nervous up until like my music hits. The minute my music hits, it's like I get possessed. Like just like Diva comes out and she starts doing all these like dances and stuff. Um, but yeah, it's just so much fun. And you know, I think with the storyline aspect as well, that's what makes it even more fun, because you know you've got something different to look forward to every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned I'm gonna ask how do you get yourself psyched up, but I think you've already answered the question.
Yeah, like I think with me, like I am quite creative as a person, and so like I mean my day job is I work as a makeup artist, so I'm always creative. But like I used to like perform as well, so I used to do like lip sync performances in like a bar. So for me, like being creative within wrestling makes me excited. So whenever it's like a pay-per-view, I'll always like get like a new outfit. And like when I'm there, like rhinestone in the outfit, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait! And it's like a build up. And then when it comes to show day and you've got the outfit on, you know, after putting all that effort into it, and then the music hits, and it's like, yeah, that's what really psychs me up. I'll literally be behind gorilla position, which is behind the curtain, and I will be so nervous, and I'll be like, right, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And then as soon as my music hits, it's like,
It's like a switch.
yeah, I'm there.
So this next question I ask a lot of people, and it's not designed to trick people. It's kind of like to promote yourself a little bit. So for fans who's not familiar with yourself, why should fans go check out you as a wrestler?
Oh God. Oh, that's a really hard question. Okay, so I think you should check me out because I always, you know, wear something different, so that's exciting. But I think as well, just like my character, she's quite spontaneous. Like you don't really know what you're gonna get. I'll always do something to kind of win or cheat. And yeah, just if you want to see like a heel, a diva, then come and check me out.
I think what Drew's saying is she's a natural heel.
Yeah, I think I am really. I don't think I could ever be a face. Like now that I've been a heel and how much fun it is, and kind of, you know, the how you can be really playful, and as soon as you get like the booze, you know, you've done your job. Whereas being a face, like I think I would overthink it, and again, I think that's where my insecurity of trying to be liked would come in. You know, so I don't think I'll ever be a face. Although never
No,
say never.
never say never, right? Right. So obviously we put on Twitter about obviously questions and stuff like that, and there's some really, really good ones. So we're going to knock these out of the park. So one person, we'll start from the beginning, says, "Who's your favorite / hated UKW wrestler?" So that's like kind of like a two-part question.
Who's my favourite and bad?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So my favourite bad is Evan Knight. And the reason being is because, like, before I debuted, like, I watched Evan really closely and how his character work is, and that actually helped me. I've never told him that, but how he is, like, you know, just really, like, vibrant and out there, like, that really helped me. So he's probably, like, my favourite heel. And then, oh, actually, no, because I like Johan as well. Oh, it's so hard. We'll go with Evan for the hated, and then the face. Who do I like as a face? Oh God, that's a really tough one. I'm gonna have to think about that because there's too many. There's too many.
Well, question for you. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, who's a face that I like? Everyone's so good. Oh, that is so, especially because a lot of the faces now have turned heel. Like, you know, Ryden, he's turned heel. Ruby, she's turned heel. Yeah, I can't think. I can't think.
We might have to go back to that one. So
We might.
the next one was, how was serving the runaway while wrestling been?
What's that? What was that question?
How was serving the runaway while wrestling been?
How is the runway? Oh my god, fabulous!
I've read it wrong, Anna.
I treat it as a catwalk. The minute I come out that entrance, I'm like, right, pose, pose. The camera's there, so like pause to get a good picture. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that.
No, not really. Neither do I. To be honest, I've said it wrong, so
it's fine. I think the answer is fine.
That's fine. Next one was top 3 wrestling inspirations. You spoke about Lita. Is there another 2?
Oh yeah. So women were wise. Lita, Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair. They're probably like my top 3. I love Tony Storm as well. And then male wise, Jeff Hardy, obsessed with him. Seth Rollins, and then controversial, but I really like Dominic Dirty Mysterio.
Oh Jesus!
I think that's for other reasons, though. From a wrestling standpoint, though, like I like Randy Orton, like I used to love him, especially when he had This Fire Burns as his theme tune. You know, I think did CM Punk have it before him, or was it CM Punk that had it before him, or did Randy Orton and CM Punk get it?
I think when I remember Punk having his Kill Switch Engaged, I just know the band.
Yeah, he had that, and then I'm pretty sure Randy Orton got it, but I was obsessed with that song. But yeah, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, who else did I say? Who did I say? We won't say Dirty Dom. Yeah, Jeff Hardy definitely, like, obviously with the Lita and the Hardy Boys, he was a big influence.
Yeah, and I'm a massive fan of tag team wrestling as well, so I'm so glad you said the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, like I genuinely think that they're going to be in the Rumble this year. Like I've just got a feeling. I don't know why. Fingers crossed.
We'll obviously we'll get your predictions obviously at the end of the show. Do you know what I mean, for the Rumble? So I can't wait for that. Next one was, how are you coping with taking bumps and injuries?
I'm lucky that I've not like injured myself. Like I've hurt myself. Like when I took the suplex off the top rope from Leonie, like I didn't land my feet flat, so like my heel went into the mat. So like for about a week, like my heels was like killing. But I'm quite clumsy though with my legs because my legs are so long. It's like sometimes I don't even know where they are. And then like I did something to my elbow, and other than that, in terms of the bumping, like I don't actually mind taking bumps. Like I'm kind of used to it now. Like it's more, do you know what it is? It's more the running the ropes. Like the ropes kill your back. The minute you fall onto it, it's like, ow.
The next one was, who's your dream? Which wrestler is your dream match against?
Oh, what, like WWE wise or just in general?
They didn't specify,
Okay.
so in general.
In general, I think more realistically, oh God, who's my dream opponent? I think realistically, maybe Succubus. Only because like I followed her like wrestling journey and seeing her like inspire like especially the trans community. I think it'd be really cool to like, you know, take on her. I would actually like to have like a rematch with Kiara because I feel like I let Kiara down in my match with her, like I botched in that match.
Yeah, and Succubus. I mean, I love that one, by the way, because her Instagram is so entertaining.
Oh, she's hilarious. I don't think I follow her on Instagram. I follow her on YouTube. I tend to follow more people on YouTube. But yeah, she's just hilarious. And to see like her progression and like she's so open with, you know, how she is mentally and yeah, just to see like the behind the scenes of her training, it's really inspiring. So I think she'd be fun to wrestle.
Yeah, I definitely recommend going checking her content out because it is so good. I smile every time I see it.
It's the eat the cake when she does the eat the cake. Like I think they might be enjoying this.
Not a
You
comment.
might be staying there a little bit longer than you want.
Now, this next one's probably one of my actual favourites. What somebody sent in, he says, "Do you believe it's better to have one solid look or a solid brand?"
Ooh. For me, maybe it depends. I think. I mean, I don't have one look when it comes to my gear. I think it's more the brand. I think it's better to have a solid brand because if you've got a solid brand, then you can kind of, you know, change throughout. So yeah, I think looks wise, you could have like the look, but if you don't have the kind of um personality behind it, or if you're not convincing enough, say like if you're a heel, if you can't be convincing enough, then the audience aren't gonna, you know, buy into it. Same as if you're a face, like if you don't have that likability, it's really hard for someone to get behind you. So I think it's good to have like a look, but I think as a brand in general, that's probably stronger. That yeah.
That was probably
Is
one of
there
my
a right or wrong answer? I don't know.
that was probably one of my favourite questions. What somebody sent in, because I'm thinking, going, oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of like chopping and changing between both, and I still couldn't decide myself.
Yeah, like because for me, I feel like as time's gone on, like I've really understood my character and I've been really lucky because I've had that storyline with Leonie. I think that kind of solidified who my character was because of that chemistry between us both. But yeah, I think if you've got a strong look, that can really make you stand out. And people, because I mean, visually, that's what people see first, isn't it? You're telling a story the minute you like come out with whatever you're wearing and you kind of showmanship. But I think, yeah, I do think a brand is probably, you know, more beneficial because there's more
Absolutely.
aspects to it.
Yep, absolutely. Next one just says win or lose.
I mean, everyone wants to win. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, like if it actually meant like in terms of like winning and losing, as long as I've had a really good match and I can walk away and look back at it and be really proud of it, winning and losing doesn't, you know, matter to me. As long as I'm having fun, that's all that matters. But yeah, I mean, everyone wants to win.
Just James says next top star. And I'm sure you know that guy, right?
I do. Just James is the commentator at UKW. Hi. And he's my biggest fan.
He definitely is. I messaged him privately when he obviously followed me on Instagram and stuff like that, and he's like, "You can't wait for this." So, James, thanks for stopping by, my man.
Thanks, James. Yeah, he's hilarious. Like, if you ever watch him on Monday night, oh my god, he's hilarious. Like him and Carla and Brocco, they're just like I literally will rewatch even if I'm on the show, like I'll watch the entire show just so I can hear what they are saying because they can be hilarious sometimes.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Nice guy, nice guy. Next one was, what would be your dream triple threat match opponents? So we talked about singles now. What about a triple threat?
Oh. Triple threat. Okay, so oh God, why are these so difficult? Do you know what as well? Like, I think people ask me this and I sent you them. I should have like read them. Triple threat. I mean, I love fighting Leonie, and yeah, maybe like Leonie and Ruby in UKW within the women's. And then if it was like people outside, Succubus and Maddie. Maddie's so good. I got to wrestle her and wow, Maddie Morgan, she is incredible. She's going to be like the next WWE star, that girl. Like, just unbelievable.
I remember watching that match and I'm like, wow, that was probably one of my best matches I've seen. Do you know what I mean? With Maddie, because like I said, she's doing some incredible stuff. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I have to agree with that. Maddie Morgan, incredible talent.
She's so nice, and again, she's got the whole brand. Like, she's got the look, the gear looks cool, and she's just badass. But yeah, like wrestling her was really fun. Although it was funny because, like, I mean, kind of kayfabe. When we was fighting, we got told like how long we had left. And she called for like me to like get the ending of the match going, and we got told that we had like 12 minutes left. And I was like, we cannot end this match right now. You're just gonna have to take some more hits from me. But yeah, she was really fun to wrestle. And again, I think seeing her do the moonsault, it's like got a fire in me, and I'm like, hopefully by the time I wrestle her again, I can whip out a moonsault on her.
Speaking of wrestlers wrestling again, somebody said, will you get a rematch against Leonie?
Hopefully you'll have to watch this space. I mean, I've got the match with Leonie against her at Super Pro Wrestling. So that'll be really fun. That's in February. I think is it the 21st?
21st, yes.
Yeah, 21st of February. So that'll be fun. So I'll be wrestling her there. But in terms of like UKW, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe keep an eye on my social, like on my Instagram, and see what happens these next few weeks, because then there's a lot of funny content coming out. My character's depressed right now, so
I look forward to that.
She's lost her love.
I look forward to that one.
Yeah, I started filming it yesterday, so I'm going to film more as the week goes on. But yeah, like it's definitely one to watch.
Absolutely. Next one was, and I don't even know how to answer this one myself, but someone says, as someone who knows absolutely zero about it, what is the aim? Is it to hurt each other? I don't even know how to answer that one.
Yeah. I think it's wrestling is entertainment, it's fun, and you've got good storylines. It's like a drama with real life fighting. Yeah, like, I mean, of course you're there to hurt people because you want to win. I mean, you don't really want to hurt them.
You're supposed to say no.
Sometimes I think I'm actually like, I'll like do a move and then I'll be like, are you okay? I'll go for a pin and I'll be like, was that okay? Did I catch you? It's fine if they hit me, it's fine, like, but if I hit someone else, I'm like genuinely like, are you okay?
Now, this next one, I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, WWE now has gone to Netflix. What do we think?
Do you know what? Like, I really like it. I mean, the first show felt really long. I mean, the entrances felt like they went on forever. The entrances, I think, was like playing the entire full song. But no, like I really enjoy it. I think that they've definitely upped their game. The storylines are really captivating, and there's some incredible talent. Like before, like I used to kind of like dip in and out of it. I'd only kind of watch like my favorite wrestlers. So like if Rhea Ripley was fighting, I'd only kind of watch her match and maybe like one other. But now, like because it's on Netflix and it's more accessible, I literally watch the whole show. Yeah, I think that they've done a good job. And isn't it like nearly like number one like pretty much every week on Netflix now in the UK? I'm pretty sure it is.
It probably will be. I mean, the one thing I like as well is like I never used to watch NXT, but since it's on Netflix, I'm proper like drawn into, like NXT, just as an example.
Yeah, that's one that I've not kind of got myself into yet, but I need to start watching it because there is some incredible talent, and I think we're probably going to get maybe some NXT stars in the Rumble. Maybe.
Never know. Never know. Now,
Never
last one. Never know. Last one, obviously, from a fan was, what is your favorite movie you love seeing but also want to do?
The Moonsault. The Moonsault and the Swanton Bomb, like they're my two moves that I really want to do. The Swanton Bomb, I think I may be able to do it. I've not actually attempted it, but like I think in my heart I'm capable of doing that. The Moonsault, I think that's more mind over matter because you are going back, and it's like when I was growing up and I was pretending I was Lita, I'd be like on the side of like, oh, that would be my Moonsault. But actually doing it, I think it's like mind over matter. So they're like the two moves that I really want to do. There are other moves that I can do. I've just not been able to do them yet because of like depending on who I'm facing. So like I can do like a Hurricane Rana, you know, from like the ropes. I can do like one of my I do a finisher which is the Twist of Fate. I kind of go in and out of the reverse and the normal one, and I call it the Drop Dead Gorgeous. And then my other finisher that I've just not even put into a match yet is the AJ Lee Black Widow, which is like a submission one, and that's just because I am really tall, and it's about the person being strong. Like whenever I'm fighting Ruby, she can take a head scissors off me, but we've not actually attempted to do the Black Widow yet. But then if I'm fighting like Nisa, for example, there's no way I'm hitting her with a head scissors. Because like I would literally like half my body would just smash into the mat. I think I'd squish it.
Wow. Of course, let's obviously talk about the Royal Rumble. Obviously, it's this weekend. What's your predictions?
So, I mean, I've been saying it for like ages now, and I think it's just wishful thinking, but I really, really think AJ Lee is going to return. There's something in my gut that says she's going to return in the Royal Rumble. And I mean, how amazing would that be having like a WrestleMania match where it was like AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins? Like, that would be pretty cool. And the only reason I think that is because they keep mentioning her, like, they keep mentioning Becky and AJ, so I think that. I think Charlotte is going to win the Women's Rumble. Yeah. I mean, I love her. I wish they didn't release that she was coming back. Like, I wish they kept it secret, but I do love the marketing of it. I think that, the marketing has been like iconic, but I do kind of wish they kept it a bit of a surprise. And again, wishful thinking, I hope Lita and Trish come back because I would love them to kind of finish off their storyline that just randomly got dropped.
Yeah, you're right. It did get randomly dropped.
Yeah, like Trish attacked Lita. She didn't even lose the championship technically. Like it was Trish that lost it. And then like Trish had the feud with Becky, and then it's kind of like Lita's just kind of gone into the sunset. So it's like I would like to see that as like a little feud maybe if they both returned, and they had like a little thing in the ring, or a run would be amazing. And then the men's rumble, like I genuinely just I can't call it because it's like, is John Cena going to win, or is he going to lose and then turn heel? Because there's rumors that he might be turning heel, which I think would be quite cool.
He's never turned heel in his career, and we've spoke about that obviously on shows we do on the Saturday. And I can't see it, I will be honest, but if it does, I think it will be really interesting.
Yeah, because has he ever been heel, or has he always been like a baby face?
Because he does all the stuff for like, the kids outside it. I think he's always been like a nice guy.
Yeah, I think if he did turn heel, it would be like again a new version of his character. But I don't know. I mean, it would be like a twist on doing the farewell tour because everyone expects him to have this like amazing tour and be the baby face again. So if he did turn heel, that would make that quite interesting. But yeah, I can't call who's going to win the men's rumble. Like, what do you think? Who's going to win?
I think Punk. It's got to be. Do you know what I mean? He's been injured for a while, and I feel like he needs that type of big thing. And we saw obviously what he did with that thing calling Hulk Hogan out. Yeah, I think Punk for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to forget about the Hulk Hogan thing, aren't we?
I meant the comments he said, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, like I mean, like I know it. People either love or hate Punk. I personally like him. I think it's just because I like his vibe as well, and I do like his honesty. But yeah, I think he could win it. But there are so many like it's just so hard. I just I can't call it.
We'll definitely one thing we will know Sunday morning. We'll find out who.
Yeah, you're going to be watching it live.
Yes, I am. This is going to be first. Well, I'm not watching it live on the show, but I will be watching it obviously when it goes out.
Yeah, same. I think I might just watch it the next morning. I'm like too old now. I watched Raw when that went live on Netflix, and like my eyes was just going and going. I think I'm old now to stay up late.
So, a few little more questions obviously begin to wind down and stuff like that. So, what's obviously for you and what's the goal for obviously the rest of the year?
So the goal is there is no goal. I am literally taking everything with a pinch of salt. I mean, I'm grateful and honoured that I'm even doing, this. Like I didn't expect to debut as soon as I did. I didn't expect to win a championship like 2 months after I debuted. So like there isn't really a goal. I want to get my name kind of out there a bit more, I guess. So that could be a goal. But in terms of like UKW, I just want to continue, working there. Again, having amazing storylines, and I don't have a big goal of like getting to WWE. I mean, I think I'm at a point now in my life where I'm probably too old for them anyway. But like I don't want to set my sights too high. So whatever I get, offered to me now is just it's just going to be the icing and cherry on top.
Just James has just sent an interesting question. Says, if we turned face, what would your character look like?
Oh God. Probably more like me, to be honest. I probably wouldn't be as kind of over the top as my character is, with like the glittery lips and the big hair. And I think it would be more kind of like a bit punkier, a bit more grounded. Like, I mean, I still incorporate that into my gear now and again, like where I wear like the baggy cargo pants, but then I'll always wear like some rhinestones to just glam it up. I think it'd be more like me, a bit more geeky, a bit more nerdy. That's the only way I can think of.
You can't beat a nerd, though, right?
What's that?
He says you can't beat a nerd.
You can't be a nerd. Like, people probably think I collect bags and shoes, and actually I collect comic books and action figures. Like,
Really interesting.
yeah, I've got a canvas that I've taken down off the wall because I thought, I'll keep it nice and professional. But I've got a giant canvas like the Joker.
Oh, worst Joker though.
What's that? The worst.
Jesus Christ! You could have shown a better Joker.
Well, that's the one I've got.
Yeah, it's just personal preference. I'm just not a fan of that Joker person. I mean, each to their own, right?
I like the look of him, but I think that's just because he reminds me of like the Prodigy. But I Heath Ledger was for me the best Joker, and Jack Nicholson as well. But I love the old Batman films; like they're like my favorite films of the Batman series. Is Batman Returns, like obsessed.
Just James says, I think I already know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it.
Have I been on TV before? Yes. Yes, back in 2011, I was on a TV show on Channel 4 called My Transsexual Summer. So it was about kind of like following like 7 trans people's lives, and we kind of like lived in a retreat. So we lived in this like big massive house. It was incredible. It was like the old Hovis mill. And I remember like seeing it and I was like, wow, like this is insane. And we would like kind of go there every couple of weekends, and we filmed over a few months. And it kind of followed our journeys within the house and getting to know one another, and then it followed our journeys outside. So like my story was about trying to get a job. I was working in a nightclub as a barmaid at the time, and I'd occasionally like dance on the stage as Lady Gaga. But I was trying to like just get like a regular job, and every time I was applying for jobs, like I was not hearing anything back. And so like when I did the show, it was about kind of following me and seeing if I like the reasons as to why I wasn't getting a job. And it did end up coming down to me being trans. Like I went to a job interview and they, you know, they was really like positive and open and was like, oh my God, we can just picture you working here. You'll be amazing. But they kept asking me like why I couldn't get a job. And in the end, I ended up just saying, oh, maybe it's just because I'm trans, you know, and people get kind of like scared about it. And then as soon as I said that, they just turned and changed and said that I would make people feel uncomfortable if I worked there. And it was like, wow, okay, so this is the reason why I'm not getting a job. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show, was because I wanted to like, well, I mean, funnily enough, the agreement was if I did the TV show, they would need to help me find a job. That was like the actual outcome of it. Because originally I wasn't going to do it because the guy that I was with at the time just didn't want me to do it. And I was really worried about outing myself, you know, because it can either go one way or the other. You know, you can get a lot of positiveness or people can kind of just give you loads of hate. I was really lucky. Like I got a lot of positive feedback from it. And then I got so many opportunities that came my way that like, yeah, that was tough. But that was like my story on there. And then you had like people like Lewis Hancock's, who's like massive on social media now. He's just like released a graphic novel, but his story at the time was he wanted like chest surgery, and it was like, you know, showing that, you know, there was like a small aspect on the show where it focused on surgery, but the main aspect was just focusing on us as people and just showing that we're just normal, like well, maybe not normal. Maybe not normal, but like, you know, we were just like people like everyone else, you know, we're all soft and pink on the inside. So yeah, I did that. And then I did like, I've done, you know, interviews for the BBC. Yeah, like I've had quite a crazy life.
That answers your question, James. So if people want to go check UKW out, we'll put the link in the description of this video so you can go check it out. Drew obviously is going to be there the next pay-per-view, which is it March, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, I don't think I'm on the Pride and Glory one. As far as I'm aware, I've not been told. I'm possibly being on the March one.
Stay tuned for that one. But yeah, people can go check that out.
You'll have to watch his face. Follow me on Insta and then you'll find out.
Exactly. But yeah, and obviously you mentioned the Super Pro one. Now, this is my hometown. You're up against somebody you know pretty well. Again, link will be in the description, but you're facing Leonie Rose outside UKW. How are we feeling?
I'm excited because, you know, the chemistry that we have within the ring is just like, it just works. Like we're like a yin and yang. We vibe. And yeah, like I think it'll be interesting for like a different audience to see me as a character and how that goes down. Because obviously the UKW universe is like used to me by now. I mean, I forced them. I forced myself to like get them to like me, but they just don't. But yeah, like I'm really excited. It'll be nice to be in a different venue and see how the crowd reacts to me.
It'll be interesting. I'm going to be there in person as well. Yeah,
Pardon?
I'm going to be there in person as well. So this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, you'll be able to like. You should bring a tape measure to prove that I'm 5'11".
I'm still not buying it. I'm definitely saying you're taller.
No, I'm 5'11". I mean, that's what the doctors measured me as. So
I'll be the judge of that on the 21st of February. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to like see everybody and catch up and stuff. It's hard though because when I'm like wrestling, obviously like I'm trying to get people to hate me, but then after the shows, I'm like, "Hi, I'm me now."
I'm the crazy one.
I think because my name is like my real name is like my wrestling name, so it's like that's confusing as well.
It's all a part of the learning curve, I say.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. It'll be good.
Absolutely. Again, like I said, we'll put all the links in the description of this video and stuff like that. Drew, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself.
I have. Thank you for being my first interview. I'm buzzing. It was fun.
Absolutely. So one thing I always like my guests to do is they get to do the outro. So you can say anything you want, you can promote anything you want, and I will roll the outro. Take it away.
So my motto in life is, if you're not being yourself, then what's the point of being you? Don't let, age or anything stop you from living your dream, because you only get one shot. So go for it. Life's too short.